I thought everything was going perfectly. I met Chloe, my ex, on a dating app, and we hit it off instantly. She was stunning, charming, and everything I wanted in a partner. At 33, I was in a stable relationship, or so I thought. Everything seemed perfect until the cracks started to show, and I began to notice strange behaviors. Chloe was beautiful, way more than I could have ever imagined. I didn't feel insecure, but I did wonder why someone like her would even be interested in me. But she always reassured me, and we were happy, or so I believed. She would always mention how much attention she got from other men, which seemed harmless at first. Little did I know, it was only the beginning. One night, during casual chat, Chloe brought the idea of hall passes. It was meant to be a fun, hypothetical conversation, but her response struck me the wrong way. She casually mentioned that she didn't think many celebrities would say no to her. I laughed it off, but that comment lingered in my mind. Something wasn't right. Chloe started coming home later than usual. At first, it was just a few minutes, but soon, it became hours. Her excuses were weak, saying things like, I ran into a friend, or traffic was terrible. She wasn't as forthcoming as she used to be, and every time I asked, she'd snap at me. I could feel something shifting in her, but I wasn't ready to confront it yet. The late nights continued. I tried to ignore the red flags, but the more I did, the stronger my suspicions grew. Was she cheating on me? I tried not to let my imagination run wild, but I couldn't help it. Something was wrong, and I had to find out what it was. Finally, after days of this unease, I confronted Chloe. I asked her directly if something was going on, and she denied it. Of course, she blamed stress and exhaustion, but I wasn't convinced. Something was off. I tried to let it go, but the feeling wouldn't leave me. I had to dig deeper. I hired a private investigator. It felt like something out of a movie, but I was desperate for answers. I couldn't just sit around wondering anymore. I needed the truth, and I needed it now. I gave the investigator all the information he needed and agreed to a 10-day surveillance period. I was in for the longest 10 days of my life. Those 10 days felt like years. I was tormented with the thought that the investigator might uncover something terrible. Meanwhile, Chloe kept coming home late with the same tired excuses. It confirmed everything I feared. This wasn't just a small problem. It was much bigger. The investigator finally called me. I could tell by his voice that he had the answers I was looking for. I went to his office, my stomach in knots, and sat down to hear the truth. Chloe had been seeing someone else. The investigator had followed her to an apartment building 3 times. She went alone and left 2 hours later, always with the same man, Cody. The investigator handed me the manila envelope. Inside were photos of Chloe and Cody, holding hands, kissing, all of it in black and white. The truth was undeniable. My heart sank as I looked at the pictures. It was one thing to suspect, but to see it all laid out before me was a different kind of pain. I couldn't wait anymore. I walked into our home and asked Chloe to sit down. I told her I knew about the affair. I had proof. I had hired a private investigator. She was silent. Shocked, yes, but no apology. She didn't even try to defend herself. Her silence spoke volumes. I was done. And then Chloe did something I never expected. She laughed. She told me it was just physical, that it didn't mean anything. She mocked me, saying I'd never find anyone like her again. Her arrogance was staggering. I couldn't believe she was so shameless. It was like she didn't care at all. I couldn't take it anymore. The emotional betrayal, the arrogance, it was too much. I told her I was done. I walked out of that house without a second glance. I didn't look back. I couldn't. It was over. But little did I know, this was only the beginning of a whole new chapter in my life. After breakup, I stayed in a cheap motel for a while. I couldn't go back to the house. I needed time to process everything. Chloe kept contacting me, mocking me at first, then apologizing, but I wasn't interested in hearing from her. She had made her choice. Months later, I attended my 15-year high school reunion. I didn't expect much, but it turned out to be a great time. The highlight? Veronica, a beautiful model from high school, was there. We hadn't spoken in years, but when I mentioned her name, her friend told me something that changed everything. Veronica had always had a crush on me. Veronica, the stunning model, had been secretly interested in me all these years. It was flattering, to say the least. After everything with Chloe, I wasn't sure what to make of it, but the idea that someone like Veronica found me appealing was definitely a boost to my self-esteem. I reached out to Veronica on Instagram just to see where things could go. I never expected much, but to my surprise, she responded enthusiastically. We started messaging back and forth, catching up on old times. It felt easy, natural, and exciting. Our messages soon turned into daily FaceTime calls. Veronica was traveling the world for work, and I was here, but we connected on a deeper level than I had with anyone in a long time. I realized that despite the distance, there was something real between us. A few weeks later, I decided to visit her in Brussels. It was a perfect opportunity to see where she lived and experience her world as a model. The trip was amazing. Not only was the city beautiful, but watching Veronica in her element made me fall for her even more. I knew this was something special. While in Brussels, I shared some photos of Veronica from a photo shoot on my Instagram close friends list. I completely forgot that Chloe was still on that list. After almost a year of silence, I received a message from Chloe asking about the photos. It was a mistake I wouldn't make again. Chloe's message was condescending, mocking me for moving on. She tried to get under my skin with snarky remarks, but this time I was ready. I responded, telling her that if she thought I couldn't do better, Veronica was out of my league. I blocked her right after. This was my final goodbye. I couldn't believe I had spent so much time with someone who didn't appreciate me. Chloe had always made me feel like I was lucky to be with her, but in reality, I deserved so much more. Veronica had shown me that. She was kind, thoughtful, and real. She didn't play games. As time went on, Veronica and I grew even closer. I knew I had found something special. I started thinking about the future, about us, and by the end of the year, I was planning to propose to her. She had been my rock, my escape from the heartbreak Chloe had caused. I couldn't imagine life without her. This journey wasn't just about finding love after heartbreak. It was about rediscovering my worth, my value. Veronica made me feel like the luckiest man in the world, and for the first time in years, I felt truly happy. Veronica was always there for me. She supported me through everything, never questioning my decisions. She made me believe in love again. She wasn't perfect, but neither was I. Together, we were perfect for each other. When I told my family about Veronica, they were thrilled. They could see how much happier I was. The support from my friends and family made everything feel right. I knew I had found someone who not only loved me, but also brought out the best in me. Being in a long-distance relationship had its challenges, especially with Veronica's busy modeling career. But we made it work. We understood each other and knew that this was something worth fighting for. Every reunion was special. Every conversation made our bond stronger. When the moment felt right, I proposed to Veronica. It was everything I'd hoped for her, exciting, emotional, and full of love. She said yes, and I knew that this was the beginning of a beautiful future together. Chloe attempted to contact me again, but I didn't respond. I didn't need closure anymore. The past was over. I had found my future in Veronica. Everything that happened with Chloe was a lesson in learning to value myself. Veronica and I are building a future together. We've traveled, we've laughed, and we've loved. Life is better than ever. I'm happier than I've ever been, and I wouldn't change a thing. Thank you for being part of this journey.